The secret to having lightning fast hands isn't really about how good your reaction time is. When people see the pros play and 5-0s play and they're having these crazy back and forth firefights, everyone's like, oh, I could never do that. Their hands are just too fast. They can react and swing just way faster than I'll ever be able to. That's not the case. The pros and 5-0s, they're hitting the ball so hard with such fast hands because their preparation and anticipation is so good. I'm going to give you today the keys to having perfect anticipation and preparation so that way you can get lightning fast hands too. So when you go out to the park and play with your friends, they're going to wonder what you ate last night to give you hands so fast. The first key to getting faster hands is having a good ready position. That's going to give us good preparation. We want to stay ready so that way we don't have to get ready. We always want to be ready for the ball. That leads us into the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Remember that. Good ready position is going to bring us to the 5 Ps. So a lot of beginners have a ready position that looks something like this. We have the weight on my heels, my paddle's down below the net, and my elbows are in my side. What happens when I'm like this is I'm not going to be able to get the paddle up in time. My weight's going to be falling backwards, so I'm not going to be able to counterattack. So if my opponent speeds up at me, I'm going to be in a really tough position to hit that ball. Instead, what I want to do is have my paddle up high above the level of the net and in a nice ready position where I'm at about 11 o'clock because I want to make sure I'm defending my body with my backhand and my elbows are up off my body. I should be able to fit a grapefruit between my elbow and my side. I need to be able to hold something there. If I'm in here, that's not prepared. I need to be out here, paddle out in front, elbows off, and then my weight needs to be coming forward. I need to be up on the balls of my feet. If my weight's forward, I'm going to be able to have a nice athletic stance and punch out to the ball to counterattack it, and I'm not going to get pushed back by the force of the ball. If your weight's on the heels, when the ball comes hard at you, you're going to be pushed back when it comes to you. That's going to absorb the pace, and it's going to give your opponent an easier next shot, even if you end up getting it over the net. So good ready position right here is going to help me counterattack that speed up. Now we're going to talk about anticipation. Anticipation is super important. That's being able to tell where the ball is going as soon as possible. You don't want to wait until the ball is crossing the net to prepare your paddle in the direction of the ball, right? If I'm going to hit a forehand, I don't want to wait until the ball is crossing the net to get there and recognize the forehand. I have to be able to tell where it's coming early. This part's a little trickier than the preparation part because it takes a lot of experience and just seeing the ball. But I'm going to break it down into a few key points that are going to help you make sure that you can judge using your mind where the ball is going to go before it actually goes there. So the first key to anticipation is we always want to be watching the paddle angle. The paddle angle, so where the paddle is facing at the contact point, is always going to tell us without fail which direction the ball is coming in. The paddle will never lie. Even if your opponent's throwing all these crazy fakes at you, at some point before they make contact, the paddle angle is going to change to the direction the ball is coming in. Don't watch your opponent's feet, don't watch their chest, don't watch their body, watch the paddle. That's the one thing that will, I promise you without fail, tell you where the ball is going. So for example, if I make contact this way, the ball is going to go off that way to my right. If I make contact here, the ball is going to go off to my left. So then when the speed up comes, when the opponent goes for that swing, if they're swinging this way, the ball is going to follow. If they're swinging that way, the ball is going to follow. So right here, if I want to speed up over to my left, I'm going to go here. And if I wanted to speed up over to my right, same thing, I'm going to go here. The ball is always going to follow that paddle angle. So when we're getting into our dink battle, I'm always going to be watching the paddle angle of my opponent. So that way when they speed up, it's going to tell me which side of my body it's coming to. So keep your eye on that paddle angle. It won't lie. Now, that's going to help us be prepared for the first one. But the better you are, the longer the firefights are going to be. So that means that you're not going to hit a winner off that first counterattack. Your opponent might, and actually probably will, hit it back to you. So we got to be prepared for the second shot too. The way that we do that is to make sure that we have a short follow through. We need to make sure that after we hit the ball, we're directly coming back to our ready position. We're not swinging off, because if I take a follow through up here and the ball comes over there, I can't get my paddle back in time. So when I'm hitting these volleys, I need to make sure that I am staying out in front. And then finally, once you put all those things together, there's one last thing you always need to make sure you're doing to have good anticipation and preparation, and that's doing something that we call playing paranoid pickleball. Playing paranoid pickleball is always feeling paranoid that your opponent's going to attack you. So no matter what kind of shot you hit, you could have hit the world's best dink that's coming down here and your opponent's hitting it from below their feet or they're stretched out like that. You have to expect to speed up no matter what. 3-5 and under level players can and will speed this up in games. I see it all the time. And players that have good fundamentals aren't ready for that because they're thinking to themselves, oh, I know this is a bad choice to speed this up. They're not going to do it. But then when they do it, they're caught by surprise. And when you're caught by surprise, your hands are down, you're falling back, your weight's not forward. So no matter what, we have to make sure that we're expecting to speed up. I don't care how good of a shot you hit. You need to be saying in your mind, I'm ready for that speed up. So when we're in this dink battle, even if we're hitting great shots, great dinks, I need to have my paddle up and ready because my opponent might speed that up. And if they hit a poor speed up from really low, it's going to make your counterattack all that much easier. That's a gift. If someone speeds up from down here, you should say thank you for that easy opportunity. But you're not going to get it if you're not ready. So you got to be ready.